Welcome to the Trend Detection Podcast, powered by Siemens. And now your host, Niall Sullivan.
Hello, and welcome to this, the latest episode of the Trend Detection podcast. I'm really pleased today. We've got a really interesting topic, actually, around plant maintenance services contracts and how predictive maintenance sort of links into those, or even helps enhance those in a lot of ways. My guest today is Prasad, one of my colleagues at Siemens. So before we get started into the topic, I'll just hand over to Prasad to introduce himself and his role. So over to you.
Hello, Niall. Thank you for having me in this show and this podcast. And as you said, my name is Prasad, and I'm responsible for a horizontal business line in CS called Smart Lifecycle Contracts. And the objective of our organization is to really enhance customer intimacy via lifecycle service contracts. And I'm based out of Erlangen, and happy to be part of this talk.
Fantastic. No, we're happy to have you on as well. I know we've been a little bit delayed getting you on. Not all your fault. It's my fault, my schedule as well. So I'm really pleased we've got this opportunity. So I guess to kick us off, a natural place to start would be for people maybe unaware of what plant maintenance contracts are, and maybe a bit of background about why they were developed by Siemens as an offering to our customers.
Mm-hmm. Typically, the need for service contracts arises due to several reasons. Our customers face various challenges with respect to fulfilling their technical expertise, which they need to run the plant, to have a best-in-class performance. And also based on the outsourcing philosophy, we have devised several products around service contracts, lifecycle service contracts. And this could range from product level offerings covering Siemens install base to more complex value-added offerings covering certain systems and vertical markets, to even more complete or even to a holistic maintenance outsourcing contract, which is called plant maintenance services, which is, I guess, is the topic of the day today. And essentially, coming to plant maintenance services, it's a holistic approach to maintenance outsourcing, where we cover not only Siemens product but also third-party products and assets. And typically, what we try to do is to really assess the maintenance maturity of the plant, and then come up with appropriate maintenance strategy, and then implement all the required maintenance processes together with deployment of the expert resources which are needed, to fulfill the performance KPIs of the customer when it comes to maintenance. So that's essentially the offering which we have under plant maintenance services.
No, excellent. No, an excellent overview there. So I guess just to add on to that, so if we take a mini step back and just think about the challenges customers face. So, what are we solving with plant maintenance services contracts? I guess that what are the real pain points for customers?
See, the asset lifecycle management can be extremely complex, without a clear strategy and a systematic implementation plan, because nowadays, customers face increasing challenges with respect to unplanned down, arising mainly out of several reasons. Some of them being like shorter product life cycles, needing constant updates and upgrades. Also, the competence gaps which the customers experience within their organization due to, again, shorter product life cycles, and also due to aging workforce or sometimes attrition within the maintenance staff. Security issues due to blurring, I would say, boundaries between IT and OT systems. And another key issue is sustainability, for example, where we have a lot of compliance requirements which are coming in because the expectations and the needs to fulfill from a sustainability point of view is also increasing. And all this coupled with ever increasing, I would say, productivity improvement, I would say, expectations, and also the cost optimization needs really drives that there is a holistic approach when it comes to asset management. And that's where plant maintenance services can really help our customers to have this holistic approach, to have, again, a best-in-class performance at a predictable and and optimum cost of life cycle cost.
And would you position, I guess, one maybe a very simplified way to describe it, is it like an extension of like an organization's maintenance team? So it's like a friendly, an extension, I guess.
Yeah, we cover several scopes actually, but a holistic approach would be the entire outsourcing of the maintenance responsibility to Siemens, and where we really take care of the full scope of maintenance outsourcing. And here we actually uh, formulate a maintenance strategy and implement and create a maintenance plan and execute all the maintenance plan with our own resources. So it's more or less a very holistic approach. This is a kind of a full-blown maintenance outsourcing contract, but we do also we do offer uh, services where we only cover a part of it. For example, only the maintenance execution, because where here the customer expects only certain expertise in order to fulfill or carry out certain maintenance tasks. And this is also something which we do based on the customer requirement. So it all depends on the need for customers, need for technical competence on one side, and on the other side, the outsourcing philosophy of the customer. And we are flexible and we have a modular and scalable approach to fulfill the various requirements in the market.
Yeah, and I think so. Just thinking about this, because it's obviously quite a broad. I know it goes beyond necessarily plant maintenance services. It's quite a broad topic, and so there's a lot, big opportunities for customers. But how? I guess what I'm thinking is from the sales process point of view. How does that play out in terms of what? Do you have workshops with customers, or do you? How do you identify some of these challenges and what the right solution is for a customer?
Yeah, actually, we see essentially it starts with the overall maintenance, because customer has certain challenges, because typically you can divide the requirements into two groups. Yeah, one is customers who have just set up their project, and therefore it's a greenfield plant, and they want to have a partner who takes care of the maintenance responsibility. In which case, it's a clear outsourcing strategy, because customers themselves they want to concentrate on their core focus areas and wants to have someone like Siemens who support them for all the maintenance tasks. In that case, we really start fresh, and then depending upon the process requirement, depends number of process requirements in the meaning the vertical to which or the industry vertical or the assets which are covered in these plants, we come up with a plan, because we do have significant expertise in different types of plants, be it on the process side, on the discrete side. And then we formulate an approach based on the assets involved. And whereas when it comes to brownfield plants, it's the approach is a little bit different, because here often customers have certain specific issues, challenges. Because it could be cost challenges, it could be related to availability or reliability of the plant. And therefore, what we do is to really do a quick review together with the customer. We call it maintenance benchmarking review. And during this discussion or during this review, what we try to understand is to really look at the maintenance maturity of the organization and figure out how the maintenance organization compares with some of the best-in-class maintenance, say, organizations, and then accordingly figure out what are the gaps, and then try to devise measures to address those gaps in order to really get those KPIs where we see possibilities for improvement, and that's what we then really try to address.
And actually, Prasad, that's a really interesting point about the maintenance benchmarking you go through, because from a Senseye Predictive Maintenance point of view, we assess the maturity of a customer, like a readiness for predictive maintenance, both from a sort of a technical and data, let's say, maturity, and more of a cultural maturity. I mean, does that play into some of that assessment, and if not, what other sort of things, what other?
Yeah,
measures
I
do
mean,
you put
it
in place
covers many
when looking
things. I
at
mean,
in this benchmark?
it starts with does the customer has a asset maintenance strategy in place? That's like highest level of what is a top down, I would say, approach to the to asset management as a whole, and then we look for what kind of maintenance plans or what are the processes which are followed in there or which are implemented in the plant in order to have a systematic approach. And then when it comes to execution, we see what kind of capabilities we have in terms of people expertise for certain technologies and for certain activities involving certain assets. And of course there are a few things which comes in, like when availability and reliability becomes one of the key issues which we are discussing. When we discuss that with the customer, naturally the reliability centered focus or reliability centered approach to maintenance plays a big role there. And that's where we really see the importance or the impact which predictive maintenance technology can create, because it helps us to really then uncover failures in advance and then create interventions which are much more planned rather than corrective interventions, because corrective interventions really cost a lot of money, time, effort, apart from reducing the life cycle of the assets as a whole. Yeah. So therefore, coming back to your question, mm, predictive, I would say, predictive maintenance is one of the key aspects which we look at in order to really look at or in order to have a reliable asset performance in the whole plant, which is one of the major needs of every plant.
So, okay, as you mentioned, predictive maintenance, and and obviously that's a sort of a clear focus, from my point of view, or clear something I'd like to learn more about. But how, from your side, Prasad, does predictive maintenance help to enhance these contracts? That's the word I was looking for on the tip of my tongue. What added value does it provide to customers?
Yeah, this is one of the areas where we really make a difference, because traditional maintenance organizations are like activity based, where you would see more and more activity based interventions. Yeah, so if you have a very critical asset, you simply reduce your frequency of preventive maintenance. So you keep intervening every available opportunity. You do some preventive maintenance and make sure that the reliability high. But that's not really an efficient way of looking at enhancing the reliability, because at the end of the day, uh, 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 we need to be efficient in terms of how we intervene, because very often we understand, or at least the feedback from our customers, that often the failures happen when you have a preventive maintenance intervention. Yeah, so having too many interventions, even for preventive maintenance, doesn't guarantee reliability. Yeah, because when we do preventive maintenance, you also sometimes come across certain issues that leads to frequent failures. So therefore, I think the the key here is, how do you really optimize? Yeah, on one side we are looking at reliability, for which online monitoring, predictive analytics helps a lot. But we see benefit even beyond availability and reliability, in terms of how do we really optimize the maintenance activities. Because if certain assets don't fail frequently, then one can also look at increasing the intervals of preventive maintenance, which is nothing but saving of resources, saving of consumables. So it optimizes your overall maintenance cost, it optimizes the need for those expert resources, and it also adds to sustainability, for example. Yeah, because if you don't use consumables too often, that also adds, these are incremental benefits across the value streams. And therefore a reliable predictive technology like Senseye, for example, can significantly help. And therefore I would say that deployment of predictive maintenance technology should not be restricted only to critical assets, but it should be more or less a top-down approach, so that we can really reduce wastages across the different value streams in the maintenance area, to really get the full benefit of that kind of a technology.
And that's a really important point, actually, and it's something we like to emphasise as well, because often there's a lot of focus on things like reducing downtime, and I don't think that'll ever go away in most situations as a key metric. But like you said, it's important to consider the broader benefits that say predictive maintenance or optimized maintenance strategy in general can bring. But do you find that often customers focus maybe too much on unplanned downtime and not consider some of the other added benefits as well?
Yeah, I think this has been I would say, when you talk about reliability or when you talk about condition monitoring or deployment of a predictive technology, uh, there is a perception that, hey, it's an expensive topic, and therefore let's only look at critical assets. Yeah, but then we sometimes miss out that if you really scale this across the plant, yeah, then we also get the benefit of this. Uh, uh, the advantage of, I would say, covering all the assets with incremental cost, and therefore the benefits are much more substantial. But what it really means, in my opinion, it's not really a cost benefit topic, it's more a mindset topic. Yeah, and therefore when we talk about deploying predictive maintenance technologies, I would say that we should really look at it from a top-down point of view. And once you really start walking the journey, then the incremental benefits are so much that at some point in time the organization gets really used to it, and then you would really say that you have a chance to really create a best-in-class maintenance organization, again to reach our intended goal of best-in-class performance at a optimum and predictable cost of ownership. Yeah.
Yeah, and another interesting point as a follow-on to that is I had a conversation with one of our colleagues in Spain, Pedro, about a project. He's say a PMS contract in Spain with a customer is implemented, and we talked about, it was an internal session actually, but we talked about the way that PMSs could actually form, including predictive maintenance, could form the basis of almost a pilot within the or proof of value within the organisation before they scale. Is that something you would agree with? Is it a way to introduce a nice way to introduce predictive maintenance to an organisation?
Yes and no. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it is a good way, because if you want to, there is always many people believe in that, or many of us believe that, you get the proof of value. But from my point of view, if the technology is proven and if we really have good use cases which has already given results, then we should really make use of the full benefit. Because at the end of the day, when you introduce such technologies only in parts of the plant, then the effort and the mindset change doesn't happen quickly. Yeah, although, but it's also a good way to look at it, because you create you prove value in one or the other application, critical application, and then scale it, which is also okay. But if you ask me, uh, if I need to implement, or if I need to start with a plant maintenance service context, I would really look at a broad-based approach in trying to connect as many assets as possible, because then you have a certain level of scale effect. The people are much more used to working with this technology, and therefore there is a natural thinking on the part of the people who are working on site to see, hey, how can I optimize my maintenance activities? And I'm only looking for failures, but I'm looking at the maintenance holistically in terms of my ability to optimize. Yeah. And of course, reliability is one of the key benefits in terms of certain predictability to the asset performance. But given a choice, I would look at it a little bit more holistically, because I think that would really give us significant benefits.
And do you see? It's interesting you mentioned that your recommendation about starting sort of on a wider scale with assets. Do you feel that customers are ready? And from your experience, are they ready to do that, or are they reluctant to start with a wider sort of scaling of the project to start with?
I would see this a little bit mixed. If it is a top-down approach, I think the organization embraces this kind of broad-based approach much more quickly. But if it is a bottom-up approach, then it's a change. After all, a change in the maintenance strategy in terms of how you carry out certain tasks and if this has to go bottom up, it takes much more effort and time. Yeah, so therefore, it's a mixed thing. If you ask me if the market is ready, I think there is some hesitancy, but I think increasingly we see the senior management getting involved in in maintenance related issues, because most of the senior managers in the customer organization really want to transform the maintenance activities from a cost centric approach to a performance centric approach. Yeah, and this is something which is clearly coming out as a need. So therefore, from my point of view, it's a question of time. Certain customers or certain markets or certain geographies or certain vertical markets would be much faster compared to maybe certain others. But I think the direction is clear that increasingly we need more and more. We need to deploy technology in maintenance. Maintenance is not just about having the right people intervening on a timely basis, and they have work orders every day coming to them and they execute and everything is perfect. I think this is a good old way of thinking, but I think the current demands from the market also is creating a lot of challenges for customers, and therefore, if they have to cope up with all those challenges which we spoke about a while earlier, they need definitely such technologies which can significantly help them to transform their maintenance organization into a performance-centric organization as compared to a cost-centric organization.
Please like and subscribe on all major podcast channels and find out more about Senseye Predictive Maintenance at Siemens.com.